Yo, what's good, Bills Mafia? It's Stevie Johnson, and you're in the sit down with my man Sauce God. Go Bills. Yo, what's good?
The royal penis is clean, Your Highness. The royal penis is clean.
I'm whipping the sauce, I'm tripping, of course, I want it all. All of my dogs be running with guard. Your mama, you're holding your pennies in bra. Cause when I get whipping the sauce, she taking it off. I'm dancing on tracks like stomping the yard. We keeping it quiet, we moving the signs, but now we starting to riot. Yeah, keeping my eye on the prize. I got me a queen, we riding like Bonnie and Clyde. Trips to Dubai, the way I be flexing, I'm desperate for changing my decimals. Decibels hitting the wave, I'm rapping incredible. Splitting their head like a cantaloupe edible. Got me so high, I'm touching the sky. Of course, I give it my all. I'm whipping the sauce, kicking the door. But then we been here before. She ain't involved, well, she ain't involved. Taking my shot, even if down, we tying the score. Do your dance and now twist, don't stress, don't trip. Whipping sauce real quick, stay dripping, sipping on cognac. Roll tea in my veins, where you find that? I'm whipping it, watch it get saucy.
How you doing it?
I'm twisting and mixing them, shaking them haters right off me.
What you doing?
I'm whipping it, watch it get saucy.
How you doing it?
I'm twisting and mixing and shaking them haters right off me. Like how when you penny, we started with nickels and pennies, but look at us now. Black and I'm proud, I'll never back down. My shit is profound. When I touch down, bust down. Love it when it jiggle and it bounce. Not around whipping sauce, top dog, mix it up, switch it up, make progress in the mindset. How you digest, trying to take my words out of context. When I flex on them, work hard, talk less, say with your chest. Real tea in my veins, no threats. This is real 24, volume 1, nigga. I'm whipping it, watch it get saucy. Whipping it, watch it get saucy. Whipping it, watch it get saucy.
All right, we are live here on Facebook and on YouTube. Gabe, you can cut that music out now, brother. And for those of you just now tuning in, this is the Mafia Sports Bar pre-game and post-game coverage on Facebook, YouTube, and as always, available via audio podcast, wherever you may get your podcast from. I'm your host, as always, the Sauce God, right here at Buffalo Sauce God. Make sure you guys are following, like, subscribe with your notifications turned on. This show is presented by Duff's Famous Wings, BuffaloSauceGod.com, Big Tree Inn in Orchard Park, Louie's Bar in Attica, and also the Zubaz 716 Sports Card and Memorabilia Store in Depew. Now, joined with me, as always, are my co-hosts that I love to discuss everything Bills and sports related. Let's start it off with my guy DB. DB, how are we doing on this fine Victory Monday?
Couldn't feel no better, man. Big win got me feeling real good, man.
Hell yeah, bro. I mean, there's a certain feeling when you wake up and your team was victorious, but it's a little bit more different when it's in the playoffs, right? So also joining with us is the producer who just dropped his camera view, and now he just dipped out of the show by accident. So we're gonna go over to Kirby next, aka Big Chungus, which, by the way, for those of you out there, he's a Jaguars fan, so he's gonna give us a little bit of an insight as to what an unbiased view per se, right? How we doing on this fine Monday evening, Kirby? Oh, I got him muted.
That win, that was very clean. That was surprisingly, I mean, y'all ran away with it, man. Y'all ran away with the score. And early on, I'm watching Bo Nix throw a touchdown. I was just talking to him. Throw a touchdown early, and then I watched Josh Allen. He's kind of got his nerves early. He's throwing, passes over wide receivers in the end zone. I'm like, ooh, this is going to be a close one. And then
Kirby actually texted me when I was on, because I was actually traveling yesterday. I got a chance to see my father in Las Vegas. So I was actually traveling in the airport, watching the game. And it's always pretty cool when you can connect with Bills fans outside of the state of New York. So I got a little bit of, I'm going to talk to you guys about that here in just a moment as well. But 12 gauge, brother, now that you're back and your camera's all set, how you doing on this fine evening, Mr. Producer?
Doing it really well. Yeah, I accidentally knocked my phone over. Anyway, I'm doing really well. Victory Monday, baby. Let's go.
That's what I'm talking about. Victory Monday is a lot different when it's in the playoffs. I want to show you guys a little quick video on my phone. Just if I can pull it up correctly. This one might make you guys laugh out there. See if we can get the actual correct one. But this is something my buddy showed me when I walked into work this morning. My buddy's a Steelers fan, right? So, for him to take a little bit of the pride in this, it's not going to show the view very good. It's the Broncos playoff highlights, right, ladies and gentlemen? And then Thanks for watching.
It's over.
That was quick.
So we're going to talk everything about the Buffalo Bills did right yesterday, what they need to improve on as they're going to host the divisional round against the Baltimore Ravens, who they played earlier in the season. And that was a loss in which a lot of people are really focusing in on if they're outside of Bills Mafia. So if you're just now tuned in, though, hit that like and share button. Join us here in the comments. Let us know what you think and give us your take on this stuff. So first and foremost, I never really felt nervous yesterday, right, fellas? We started off a little bit, playing really intense defense. And then, of course, they hit us with a bomb. So we're going to show you guys a little bit of highlights. And me and DB are going to kind of break some of this down for you guys. But, there's not going to be much Broncos highlights in this. Of course, you guys won't see the beginning touchdown pass. But let's go ahead. Let's start it off with the Bills Broncos highlights and sauce them up. 12 gauge. Let's kick it off. All right. So I got us. I got myself unmuted, DB, if you want to make sure you're unmuted for this as well. But basically, here we go. We had the Buffalo Bills at this point. Really, I don't know why this video is just frozen up for me. I'm going to stop that and see if I can get that unfrozen. All right, Broncos have got the football, and Greg Rousseau makes a play here, right? Stops them very nicely. And DB, I think you're still muted, brother. But Josh Allen looks here after the Broncos are up 7-0. He finds his guy right there, Khalil Shakir, reliable. And I'll tell you what, man, first down is what Khalil Shakir does very well. The Bills were really using the run game very well in this point too. DB, tell me right here, man. James Cook gets that run right there. Did you know he was going to have 100 yards today?
Man, throughout the year, man, on that play, once he get the edge, that speed, man, it's hard to catch him over there. And once he started going on his drive, I kind of knew that he had 100 yards in sight.
See, I knew that if Josh played efficiently and the defense could make some stops, like we're going to see right here.
Bo Nix.
Pocket. Boom, he's got nowhere to go. And that's what you talk about, contain. He was able to make some plays, though, DB. What did you think of Bo Nix's play against the Bills yesterday?
I think he played poised and like he's an older rookie, coming into the league, man. But he actually played like it. That big pass to be able to come in and throw it to another rookie like that on a big play in a big game like this, that was big. It shows that they got a future out there in Denver.
So here we go. Hashtag let James cook, right? Because he looks like he's going to go down, but no, he gets himself into the end zone. And for all those people out there that say, oh, Josh Allen is getting rushing touchdowns because of tush pushes, look how many touchdowns James Cook had. He just tied O.J. Simpson for the franchise single season record, I believe, for touchdowns. So now Bo Nix is going to look again. DB, what really do you think set the Bills up to stop the Broncos a lot more after that first touchdown? You see the pressure there.
You know what it is? I think we dialed in. Once we made the adjustment in the game and we turned it on, the defense was flowing. It's like they just turned it on. I think actually our defense has been waiting for this moment, the playoffs, to turn the defense really on. I think during the season, like we kind of got by with vanilla defenses not really showing too much, and I think now we're able to play our game.
Now you saw Dawson Knox with a big catch there. Him and Dalton Kincaid had a few catches each, but they really seem to be impactful catches. What do you make of the two tight ends right now? And everybody thought Dalton Kincaid was going to be the primary target, but we're seeing them kind of splitting it. What do you make of that so far?
That's the fun thing about our offense. Our offense is so multiple. You could go anywhere. It might be Knox today. It might be Kincaid. It might be a dose of both of them. But to prepare for us, you got to prepare for everybody. And I think our tight ends are, like, the matchup is so big. Other teams got to respect it. And I think that's actually opening up other things for other players as well.
So we saw right there another guy that could actually eat in the offense is Ty Johnson with the touchdown reception on 4th and 1 from Josh Allen. And then he finds Keon Coleman from the 2-point conversion. That made it a 21-7 football game right there. And hey, everybody said Keon Coleman 1 catch 5 yards, but you don't see the statistic for the 2-point conversion. Now, hey, it doesn't matter. You got to make use of whatever targets you do get. Now, here's the defense. DeMar Hamlin making a play. It's great to see that, Bills Mafia. What do you think, DB?
I love the passing that DeMar play with. As long as him and Tyler Rapp, they playing good together. Tyler Rapp, he just can't get caught with his eyes in the backfield again. Oh my God, look at Shakir.
Yep, he's so hard to take down, dude. Yeah, that right there, that run back reminds me of like Wes Welker when he would return punts sometimes. He's just a tough fucking football player. Doesn't matter how big you are, it matters how much heart you got. So here we go. Now Josh is in the offense. He's going to look down the field here from the pass here. He's got his man, Curtis Samuel, Bills Mafia. We needed this one, right? Because why? Curtis Samuel at the 10-5 touchdown. He led the Bills receiving yardage for all receivers yesterday with 68 on 3 catches and, of course, that touchdown. And that right there is something that we wanted to see, right, DB?
That was on Pat Surtain right there. A lot of people thought that we wouldn't go at him. I love that Josh Allen loves championship football. It don't matter who's out there. We're going at him, and I liked the confidence that we showed with that.
That right there was an underrated catch and run by Khalil Shakir. Looks like he's going to get tackled behind the line of scrimmage. He does a little Saquon Barkley, spins to get away, and then he finds himself with a 6-7 yard gain. Man, that's how you defeat teams right there. Now right here, Dalton Kincaid, beautiful catch right there. I love that, and it's good to see
that other tight end right there.
He had some injury problems, during the season, but he has bounced back. But Dawson Knox has also made use of those targets as well. Here's the mad scientist himself, Matt Collins, one of the most underrated and unsung heroes of the entire NFL. What do you think of his play yesterday, DB?
It was big time. His energy, his vibe that he brings to the game. He even comes to the game without his shoes on. But him playing receiver, and he's like the 4th or 5th receiver, to go out there, fight off 2 defenders, make that big time hit. That's big time. That's a team player right there. That's what we need.
I love that. So, of course, those highlights are presented by Duff's Famous Wings. If you're not already doing so, make sure you are following, like, and subscribe with your notifications turned on so you don't miss the live coverage of Bills post-game and pre-game shows as well here in the Mafia Sports Bar. And also Friday nights with the Sit-Down Sports and Entertainment podcast where we cover everything sports and entertainment and unfiltered, unscripted talk. So, now, Kirby, let's start with you on this one, brother. I want to ask you a question. You're on the outside looking in. You're a Jaguars fan. You and I obviously we bond over football, and I've always kind of try to support your Jaguars a little bit. And you've always supported Bills Mafia. You're obviously seeing this team from an unbiased view. Josh Allen, superstar. Anybody in the world could tell you, oh yeah, Bills, Josh Allen. But who is really impressing you the most offensively and defensively for the Bills outside of Josh Allen?
Ooh, that's a tough one. Okay, so at the beginning of the season, though, you guys know what I said earlier about James Cook. Well, most of you do. And I thought you were going to have Frank Gore Jr. in there because, James Cook was possibly going to lose some reps. Well, that guy has made me eat my words and then some. Ultra talented player, dude. Great win. So I got to give it to James Cook outside of Josh Allen. But, I mean, y'all's defense is what surprised me yesterday. I mean, the defense stepping up the way that they did. Offense, it did surprise me that it was going to be a little bit of a high-scoring offense. I know Denver has a really good defense, but at the same time, your defense versus their offense, I mean, it just showed you guys were the superior team.
Now we got a comment from Mike Frank, who is a Broncos fan, by the way. Props to you for, coming in here and giving us our credit because I know you like to come in here. You say, oh, Bo Nix coming up to Buffalo. But, hey, good win yesterday. Not our best performance by any means, but looking forward to the future for Bo Nix. And Buffalo's run game looks a heck of a lot better. Just ran all over us. That's the thing is people don't realize there are so many different ways this offense can beat you, and it's because people see Josh Allen. He's a world icon. He's the quarterback. He's the MVP, right? But there's so many other guys in this offense that people probably never even heard of Matt Collins. I definitely never heard of Matt Collins until this year, and I'm seeing that dude make plays on special teams offensively with just a couple targets and always seeming to just find a way on this team. And that's what this team has a bunch of, is guys that are willing to do what it takes. 12 gauge. Let me ask you a question here, man, because my mom and I are watching the beginning drive for the Denver Broncos while we're waiting to get through security checkpoint in the airport. And we saw the Bo Nix, it's 3rd down. It looks like the Bills have them in a situation where they can maybe get the football, get them to punt the football. But Bo Nix goes up top and finds, was it Mims, right?
It was, who was it?
It wasn't I'm pretty sure it was Mims, right?
What? The one that he threw the bomb to?
Yeah,
Troy Patrick. Patrick,
Troy
right?
Franklin, thank you.
Oh,
Franklin. Yeah.
Franklin. Okay, so here, let me ask you this. Now, you saw that. Did you seem to feel a little bit nervous afterwards? You feel like, here we go. or what was your feeling? Because I'll explain to you what was going on around me.
I kind of felt that a little nervousness there. But then I saw our defense step up, and nerves were eased throughout the entire game.
Mm-hmm. So I think at that point, I saw that first touchdown. My mom is going, fuck. Now, my mom doesn't know football like the way that I do. So I mean, my mom knows enough. So I go, Ma, don't worry. That's their one score. Swear to God, fellas, I literally said to my mom, that's their one score all game. Because sometimes a team can come out, start off hot, but you just showed us everything you had. Now we can make adjustments. That's what the Buffalo Bills do really well, especially defensively, and we're seeing it more and more offensively as well. So here's another crazy stat: first ever rookie QB to rookie wide receiver touchdown in playoffs. That's crazy. That's crazy to think. You know what I mean?
I mentioned that too.
So my thing here is the Bills defense has a little bit of a mantra: bend but don't break. People say the Bills are very conservative, but if you ask me, that type of motto for defense is really a gambling, risky type of way to play. But the Bills seem to do time in and time out. You might beat them one or two plays, but we're going to talk about what the Bills did right offensively and defensively here in just a moment. But DB, I want to ask you a question, bro. Who was the guy that really showed up alongside of Josh Allen? Give me one guy offensively and defensively that you really think stepped up to bring us a win yesterday.
Defensively, I'm gonna go with number 94, Smoot. It's kind of like an unsung name to bring up, but on that defensive line, he was a force yesterday. Uh, Breaking through the line, causing the running back that middle pressure on Bo Nix, causing the running back to go to different hole. It played a big role in our defense yesterday. I don't know if you ever go back to the game and watch it, but pay attention to number 94. And on offense, I'm gonna go with the obvious one, James Cook. We just talked about him, but it's like we can't talk about him enough. Like as much as we can mention Josh Allen, I know he's the star, and I just think Cook kind of deserves a little bit more credit. He really carries us through some games. Some games Josh probably threw under 24, 25 passes, and James Cook carried the ball about 16, 17 times and 2 or 3 touchdowns. I'm not taking nothing away from Josh either, but in games like this where we got to show that power, James Cook is the dog. He carries us, and we could ride him all the way to the Super Bowl if we want to.
See, that's the thing about this Bills offense is they just have a lot of different guys that could show up this week and have a big game. You have guys that can contribute for average games because really, if you look at the statistics, Josh Allen didn't have a crazy passing day, but he had a very, very efficient passing day, and it was more than elite for me, right? 20 of 26, over
272.
270 yards, 2 touchdowns, right? No turnovers. His passer rating was 133, I think it was, and I think his quarterback rating overall was in the 80s. So that's what you want to talk about with efficiency. That's
Yo,
getting
Sauce, do you notice something with our offense though? Like we doing all this, we scoring 30 points a game without even using our wide receivers as much. Soon as the defenses and they start trying to scheme for our running backs and our tight ends, our receivers will kill them, and Josh will kill them too. Like we're multiple. It's crazy, man. We could go any way, just like you said.
I like that, each guy receiving wise, especially, kind of seems to really have a role. Where, like, if I was playing Madden football, right? I'm going to look over at the top for, Keon Coleman to go for 50-50 ball. I'm going to look for Matt Collins maybe on the outside, deep 15 post or deep 15 out route, right? Because it's kind of where his zone is. Khalil Shakir, I'm throwing anywhere on the field. Dalton Kincaid, Dawson Knox, same thing, right? But the way that each guy finds their rhythm in this offense is huge. We got a couple comments real fast. Why are we talking Bills when Patriots just hire Mike Vrabel as their head coach? Hope you find
All right,
guys
Bobby.
get you
So
Bobby, hey, listen, Bobby's family. That's my mentor. That's my guy. He knows that I'm going to talk shit about his Patriots because, listen, Gerard Mayo said, fuck y'all. I'm going to make sure you don't get the #1 pick. Mike Vrabel thinks he's got Derrick Henry, but it's New England. You know what I'm saying? So the only craft that's around there is Robert with his mac and cheese. So we have another comment too from Mike saying Curtis Samuel is a weapon Buffalo needs to utilize. That touchdown was one of the best run routes and yards after catch by any wide receiver I've seen all year. And that's what I'm talking about. DB just mentioned it. You didn't see much of Curtis Samuel all year. People were saying, "Oh, why did we sign this bum?" Oh, but he made some plays when we needed him to this year, and now we see it in the playoffs too, right? So we're going to talk a little bit about the offense and defense. We're going to get into more here in this the Mafia Sports Bar right here on Facebook and YouTube. 12 gauge. Let's go into victory formation next, and let's talk about what the offense did right yesterday. Suave, we got a question for us?
Oh, yes, I do. Yes, I do. So, the Bills' offense was clicking yesterday. What were they doing right during the game? DV, you first.
Did a lot of things right, but it's kind of like what I predicted at the beginning of this game, is that we will negate their defensive backs and those fast linebackers that like the rush. We would negate that with power run game, play action, and shots. And that's exactly what we did. Time of possession, real good execution, and our offensive line played exceptionally well. Our run game was exceptionally well, and Josh played efficient, and that's the key to success. That's what we did well. Control the game, time of possession, and we executed.
Sauce, what do you think about our offense?
Let me tell you something, man. First of all, when you have 3 running backs, and obviously we hope that Ray Davis is okay. He suffered a serious injury yesterday. But when you have 3 running backs that are capable of running the football in an aggressive manner, in a fast manner, in a speedy manner, in an elusive manner, but they can also catch the football out of the backfield, man, you're just running back by committee over there. You got fucking Ty Johnson catching a touchdown pass with a probability of 16%. You got James Cook with over 100 yards rushing. It seems like when they get James Cook to Cush, he cooks, right? So I'm going to bring up a couple other points right here. Time of possession for the Buffalo Bills offensively, 41 minutes and 43 seconds. The Broncos, 18 minutes and 17 seconds. Total yards for the Bills, 471. It's 26 first downs. Denver didn't play a bad game offensively. They just didn't play great, and they didn't play good enough against a really experienced team in the Buffalo Bills. So another thing I wanted to highlight real fast, too, was I'm going to bring up some of the stats here for the team stats. Let's see. So the Bills ran a total of 72 plays versus 42. So they controlled the clock, which I thought they were going to do a great job of. They had 210 yards rushing. 210 yards rushing just opens up the gate for Josh Allen to do whatever he wants passing the football to where he doesn't need to have an extremely insanely deep pass for a huge long touchdown to get over 300 yards, right? 7 penalties for the Buffalo Bills, 45 yards were those penalties, but they didn't really seem to shoot us in the foot that much. We were able to keep drives alive in the second half. First half was a little bit different of a story, you know what I mean? So second half, we saw the team kind of adjust again. But I think overall, what we saw the Bills do really well yesterday was everybody thrived in their role. We stepped in. The offensive line really gave Josh they gave Josh opportunities that I think a lot of people didn't anticipate because let's see, defensively, how many sacks did they end up getting?
I think they only got 1 sack, and for them to be like the number one, two,
Yep,
two, I believe.
Yep.
Oh, okay, that's still not bad. I still feel our offensive line dominated. I do.
Yep. I mean, really, they got a couple where it's like Josh held on to the football for a while, and he, wasn't trying to get outside the pocket. So really, it was just a case of they made great plays to get Josh down. I mean, that's what they did well all season long. I think, Sean Payton is also a really great coach. So the way that Sean McDermott was able to outduel him coaching-wise, that's got me feeling good because I think Sean Payton is a big reason the Broncos even got as far as they did. I know Bo Nix played an exceptional rookie season, but I think overall, Bills' offense has much more experience, much more chemistry, and they made plays when they needed to, and found ways to get it going in the second half and control the clock. So that's what they did well.
You know what I think? I'm sorry, but I just wanted to add this real quick about Josh Allen, man. If you get a chance to watch the little tape of the touchdown to Ty Johnson, this is why we like a Super Bowl caliber team because the Denver Broncos, the coach, he called a spectacular play once again to stop the play. Josh Allen playmaking ability and his chemistry with his team is what scored that touchdown. So it's like defenses, you could call a right call and we still score a touchdown. That's hard to stop.
Exactly. That's really hard to stop.
Have to
Kirby,
agree.
what do you think the Buffalo Bills offense did really well yesterday from a third person perspective?
It was all even looking to me, dude. You threw the ball when you needed to throw the ball, but you relied on the run. They could tell when the rush was coming, and the offensive line reacted just the way they were supposed to do. I mean, summed it up real nicely. Yeah, man. I mean, for them to be as good as they are on defense, and we've seen the way that they've been on defense this whole season, Denver, that is. And for y'all to come in there the way that you did, I mean, it puts the rest of the teams on notice in the playoffs. I don't care how good the defense is. We just saw what you did to Denver. So, I mean, more power to you guys. I think the future is pretty bright.
I think what we really saw too yesterday, fellas, is the Bills in some games where they played, an offense that has big playability, like the Broncos. Let's give it to them. They scored quick and they scored on their first drive. They have some big play making abilities with guys like Courtland Sutton, to Patrick Mims, and Bo Nix, obviously with his feet, right? But the Bills just seem to never break down to that. And if the Bills offense can control the clock enough, that's really part of the best defense right there. Clock and possession and controlling the battle of field position, right? Too. The Bills did a really good job of that yesterday too in the return game as well. So let's go into defense though, fellas. And if you're just now tuning in though, guys, you're here in the Mafia Sports Bar with myself, Sauce God, DV, 12 Gauge, and Kirby right here on Facebook and YouTube, presented by a multitude of sponsors. Hit us with a like and a share. Join us here in the comment section. Let's keep this party going, fellas. We have ourselves some beers, some smokes. We're here. DV's got his hat on. He's got Josh down right behind him. He's got coffee. 12 Gauge has got his hat on. He's awake. So let's go ahead. Let's get in the paint train and talk about the Bills defensively. All right. 12.
All right, guys. What did you see that the Bills were doing right defensively against the Broncos offense? Sauce, you first this time.
I'm actually going to ask DV because I want to hear what his thoughts were first, only because I had moments where I really couldn't see everything the Bills were doing defensively because I'm an offense guy, right? That's when I would, all right, I got to watch. But then I was going through security. So DV, tell me, after that first drive, I see the Bills get burned, right? The safeties get burned and they go over the top, big play, touchdown. What do they do differently after that play?
I forget what game it was, but someone scored in that same exact play. Nico Collins, he scored in that same exact play against us when Houston, Texas played us in week 5. But Tyler Rapp, his head got caught in the backfield watching the play action. He know that can't happen. So I think once they got back to the drawing board, mixed with the schemed up pressures and the front four getting there to Bo Nix, I think that was the key. Just getting some pressure up front, up in his face, not from around the edges, but up in his face and make him climb the pocket, which they know he liked to scramble out to his right and try to make a throw. But he played good yesterday. Just the defense was fundamentally sound, and they was flying to the ball and in their right zones. I think once we made the adjustment mentally, I think we were okay. I think we never had a problem even after the touchdown. I think we were okay.
So from what I'm seeing, I think, and from what I was able to see yesterday as well, I think the Bills got a decent amount of pressure. They come away with 2 sacks. They made Bo Nix feel uncomfortable in a hostile environment in Buffalo. You got to love that, Bills Mafia. But Bo Nix was the only guy that ran the football with any success yesterday. Let's talk about that. 4 carries for 43 yards. I mean, that's great. Bo Nix made plays, but you got Javonte Williams, who a lot of people thought, Denver's offense will match up well against the Bills because they can run the football. He had 7 carries for 29 yards. Outside of that, nothing. They had a total of 79 yards rushing as a team. However, they only ran it 17 times. They seem to abandon the path, the running game quickly because the Bills were able to set them up for third down plays where they had to throw it. Bo Nix didn't turn the football over, obviously, until that almost Damar Hamlin interception. But if you think about it, fellas, 13 to 22, you're not picking up first downs. That seemed like the Bills were in that whole mindset of bend but don't break, and that kind of goes back to we saw the Colts with a couple big plays, right? Jonathan Taylor, but Taylor Rapp makes the play. They only get 3 points. That's what I'm talking about. And then your offense has to come out and execute after that. Kirby, man, what did you make of the Bills' defense yesterday? We saw Taron Johnson go down early, but he was able to return. What do you think of the Bills' secondary and their pass rush?
Well, I think just like we were saying, you almost made Denver one-dimensional. You kind of took away the run game from them. They weren't efficient. Forced the rookie quarterback to be pressured and to make some decisions quick, and it didn't translate for them at all. So once again, dude, you take that going forward. You learn from that game. You just keep up the momentum. But, I mean, you played a great game yesterday on defense, dude. Props to you guys.
And, hey, props to Sean McDermott because that's a guy that's time in and time out always been able to help the defense make adjustments. Yeah, DV, you probably can relate to this. You remember watching Tre'Davious White's rookie year, how he would get picked on quite a bit by teams in the first half. Second half, he was a different animal. Notably, Rob Gronkowski at the game where he elbowed him in the back of the head. Do you think that that's something that Sean McDermott instills in this defense?
I couldn't hear you. I couldn't hear that last part.
Just that whole mentality of, we get beat a little bit in the first quarter, whatever first drive, but we seem to make adjustments very well. Do you think that's a tribute to Sean McDermott?
Absolutely. He don't like to show his hand. He like to come out and see what you do. And, the best fighters are counter punchers. Mayweather, Roy Jones Jr., people like that, like heavyweight champions. And that's what the Buffalo Bills are. They come out, they see what you want to do. They know that they're good enough to stand in the ring with you. They want you to throw your best punch so we can see it, counter it, and knock you out. And that's exactly what we did to the Broncos.
I like that. I mean, you bring up Mayweather and some fighters like that. Sometimes the best defense is offense, but sometimes the best offense is defense, right? So,
Absolutely.
12, man, tell me, bro, who was the all-star for the Bills defense yesterday?
Who was that too?
Oh, there you go. That was to you, Gabe.
That was to me. All right.
Yeah.
Got to go with the linebackers. Both our linebackers were playing fantastic.
Woo! Milano played great.
Yes, he did.
Now, I only asked that question for a specific reason. Everybody's talking about the Ravens and how their offense plays, right, and how they played against the Bills earlier in the season. I'm going to point out a couple of things here in just a few moments. But before we do that, guys, hit that like and share if you haven't already done so. Join us here in the comment section as well. We're talking about the Buffalo Bills and their victory over the Broncos. We're going to get into some of the action against the Ravens here in just a few moments as well, too, because I think that's the matchup the entire world has really been waiting for. MVP talk. We're going to get Kirby's thoughts on who the MVP really is, especially coming from a Jaguars fan. So this will settle the debate once and for all. Kirby's word is the final word. He's the final vote. We'll talk about that here in just a few moments as well. So, all right. There's a point that I wanted to make. 12 just pointed out while the linebackers played yesterday. And Dorian Williams, by the way, out there making plays, man. He is a fucking animal. I love that kid's speed. You've got Terrell Bernard and Matt Milano leading the way for all tacklers. Taron Johnson as well. Christian Benford, Damar Hamlin, Rasul Douglas. And, dude, I'm seeing Greg Rousseau with that sack. That's what you want. You want your guy Greg Rousseau to get a sack, but how about Matt Milano with a sack? Here's something that everybody fails to remember about that Ravens game. The Ravens were, I think, at that point, what? Were they winless at that point? At the point that we played them in week 4.
Yep.
And I want to say that they were actually winless at that point. Yes, they were. They lost to the Chiefs. No, they beat the Cowboys, so they were 1-2. They're 1-2, but they needed to beat us because they were hungry for it, right? They want to keep themselves in playoff contention at the beginning of the season. 1-3 is a harder deficit to overcome than 1-2, especially with how the Steelers played. The Steelers were undefeated starting off the year. So, all right, the Ravens needed that victory. The Bills also were without these 3 guys, Matt Milano, Terrell Bernard, and Taron Johnson. And we didn't have Amari Cooper back then. And I believe Khalil Shakir got hurt early in the game. So, was it really the Bills at full strength?
No, sir.
And
Nope.
guess what too? It was also in Baltimore. It makes a difference. Now you got to come up here where we've beaten Lamar Jackson in the playoffs. Wasn't a pretty game by any means, but man, that 17-3 victory was one for the ages. And I anticipate there's going to be a much more tighter matchup in this go around because yes, it is playoffs. The Bills are currently a 1 point favorite, but now you've got a full strength team on both sides. It looks like. So DV, man, tell me, what is the what's the early feeling as we're going to get ready to host the Ravens coming into Buffalo?
This feeling I got is probably the same feeling the Buffalo Bills got. Um, I watch the Bills so much, probably just like you guys, and I tie seasons into each other and everything, and the history. And I know we know how to stop Lamar Jackson. That game that we played them earlier in the season, the Bills knew and know that later in the season we're gonna play Baltimore again. There was no reason to go out there to prove to Baltimore that we was better than them. Then risk somebody else getting hurt, risk our injured players playing just for that game. No. It didn't mean that much. But now, when we play them this week, Sauce, I'm predicting 34-20, Buffalo Bills. And Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry, we're going to stop the run. I'm also predicting close to 100 yards for Derrick Henry, but not the same game that he had before. It won't be no open lanes and you just running down the field 87 yards or anything like that. They'll have to earn every drop. And I hope they come to play because I know the Bills are.
I like that. So that's a great point that you just brought up about, Derrick Henry might have 100 yards, but is he going to have a Barry Sanders type of 100-yard game, or is he going to have a Trent Richardson type of 100-yard game? And when I say that, I mean having 35 carries,
38 carries, right?
It ain't putting up numbers. You know what I mean? Like that's just nah. But Derrick Henry's definitely going to come ready to play. I think him and Lamar Jackson are playing very well, but I do think this is a different show. I think if anybody's going to take this very personal, it's going to be Josh Allen. Obviously him and Lamar Jackson are always going to be hand in hand because they are truly number one and number one. I mean, right at this point in the NFL, I have a lot of respect for Lamar Jackson. They both come out of the 2018 draft class together, and both were supposed to be the projects. You know what I'm saying? They're supposed to be the prospects, but turns out that they were the best out of that class, man. And just ask Josh Rosen, ladies and gentlemen. So, Kirby, let me ask you this, brother. Bills, Ravens. What's your early feeling before we get into any MVP talk? Talk to me. What do you think? Bills, Ravens, what do you think? Oh,
be honest. Be honest.
You're muted, brother.
No, I really think, though, I think this game will be the game I kind of anticipated the Broncos and Bills game to be. Maybe a little bit of back and forth. Like I said, I really expected Denver's defense to step up and the team to look better on offense and it to be really close. I don't think, though, with the experience that the Ravens have, just with who they have in the offensive room, that you can really force them to be one-dimensional. And this is me being honest. Like the defense is going to be kept on its toes the whole game. Is Lamar going to take off running? Derrick, you got to look out for Derrick Henry. I mean, he's right there too. I mean, he's almost a guaranteed 100 yards every game. You guys are going to have to play smart and be relaxed, and not be high-strung. Just be in there, know how you can play, know from the experience that you have playing this team what you're capable of, and trust those instincts. And that's my honest answer right there, man.
I kind of agree, but I kind of disagree with the one-dimensional part because if the Bills get up by a touchdown or two, it's no more running the ball. Now Lamar got to beat you passing, and that's one thing. That's how we win this game. We make them one-dimensional by scoring on them. We get up, we stop them once, we go up 2 touchdowns. You cannot run Derrick Henry no more. You got to rely on Lamar. And I think as long as we have to rely on Lamar to beat us, passing the ball, we okay.
Okay. I respect that. So
I respect it.
Kind
Yeah.
of going hand in hand with what DB's just talking about. You know, everybody talks about Lamar Jackson is an elite runner, and you know he's become a
He
better
can throw
passer.
too.
And I just think that the other day, you know, he has had some of the best passing games that we've seen, and he's had some very efficient games. Let me just give you the stats on his matchup against the Steelers in what was their third game of the year, really, and the Ravens win that game 28-14. Lamar 16 of 21, 175 yards, 2 touchdowns. That's efficient right there. I mean, you pair that up with
Very
Derrick Henry's
efficient.
game. But if we could stop the run and we can make Derrick Henry first and 10 becomes second and 8, it's third and 7. Then we're gonna have to make the Ravens really have to find themselves a true, you know, go-to guy. And I think, yeah, you have that in Mark Andrews, you have that in Isaiah Likely. But if we stop the run plays, because look at the Ravens right here, that was 50 of their offensive plays were rushing plays. They threw 21 passes. Okay, so obviously you see that there is not one-dimensional, but it's a 2/3 dimensional type shit. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So if we can slow up Derrick Henry, and I'm gonna bring up a great example of how we've done it before, the 2022 home opener against the Tennessee Titans, Monday Night Football, I believe it was one of the most electric atmospheres I've ever been a part of.
Oh yeah, we shut him down.
We shut him down. We did, and that was just a thing that we needed to get past because we weren't able to get past King Henry in some bigger games, right? So here's another thing too. The Bills actually back in 2019 played Lamar Jackson at home, and that was before the Bills became what they are right now. But they were on the up and coming. But their defense played a really good game against Lamar Jackson. They had a couple big plays and scored touchdowns. But if you take away those, the Bills might have won that game. And the Ravens were one of the best teams in the league that year. Lamar Jackson, I believe, won MVP that year. So if you think of that, we have a little bit of a blueprint on how to defend them. We saw that become a reality when we played them in the postseason the next season. Other teams found ways to defend against them, but Baltimore went and got Zay Flowers. They have Rashad Bateman, but I'm not sure if Zay Flowers is going to be playing in this game. But they got him a true number one receiver that helps make him a better passer. And I think Lamar Jackson, that's the only way you're going to beat him. If you make him become a pure passing quarterback and you take away his running lanes. But even if that's the case, he might still have a way to beat you. And that's because he's a great quarterback. But the Bills, they got the playmakers. So TV, tell me, bro, who is going to need to step up absolutely, just make plays time and time again for that Bills defense?
Bernard, Terrell Bernard. I put the star on him because he's a fast linebacker. He reads very well. He gets everybody in and out their assignments. And just him being one-on-one with Lamar, on that read option, I think that's kind of crucial in this game. And then his matchup on the tight ends as well. So I wouldn't even just say Bernard, but the linebackers in general have to play a real big game in this game for us to be successful.
I'd like to see a big game out of the safeties, making plays, stopping the run. I think that the Bills have really stopped the run a lot better when they dial up some defensive back pressures as well, too. So as much as we need some good defensive line play, I really want to see Ed Oliver step up, and really wreak some havoc and kind of get that the motor going right there. But I overall just want to see the defense make some plays because really the Ravens made all the plays they had to in the first matchup. Currently, fellas, this is just crazy to me, man. This is, the Bills are right now 1-point favorites. Now they're actually 1-point underdogs.
Right.
That's going to adjust because people are betting. That's how sports do it. It is literally, look at this, fellas. Matchup predictor from ESPN, 50-50 on the fucking dot, man. It's just crazy.
That's crazy, man.
So let's get to the discussion right now for who is going to win the MVP and why they should win the MVP. We're going to start with Kirby, though, because Kirby comes as an unbiased view, and you get to see what Lamar Jackson's done. You've seen what Josh Allen's done. You see the numbers. You see the impact. Give us who is the MVP and tell us why and why the other guy isn't.
I am going to sound like the biggest James Cook hater for no reason, dude, especially with my takes earlier on this year. But here's the reason why. Okay. You are going to look incredible. Just throwing the ball when you need to throw the ball when you have Derrick Henry on your team, dude. You would think so. I mean, granted, he came from Tennessee and they didn't that didn't turn out so well. But I mean, he's always been consistent. But you give that player over to Derrick Henry, who's, he has to run the ball when he needs to run the ball. He can throw the ball too. But I mean, really, this season he hasn't had to worry. Okay, I got to take off. So and so's injured. No, he's got this guy who's been Mr. Reliable, Mr. 1,000 yards almost every season you could think of. He's a big brute. And so he's really protected his body, and he's been able to throw the ball when he needs to throw the ball. But now here's the thing. If he does not have Zay Flowers that game, you guys are right. You really do kind of make the game one-dimensional. Zay Flowers being out there,
it's a good point.
Confidence that they're going to make some plays, given that they're going to be able to throw the ball a little bit more. They got Isaiah Likely, Mark Andrews, some fairly big targets that are good. But if they don't have Zay Flowers out there, then yes, it is a one-dimensional game. He'll have to rely on his running as well as Derrick Henry's running, and then that's just them on offense, essentially. That's what they identify as. Because they can't count on Mark Andrews to break away and get that speed. They can't count on Isaiah Likely to break away and get that speed like Zay Flowers. And then you've done it. You've made it a one-dimensional game, and you just take over from there.
So you are saying that Josh Allen is the MVP for the year?
What I'm saying is yes. I've made that argument that Josh Allen, you take all of that aside, all those pros and cons that Lamar has as a player, right? I feel like Josh Allen has put more on his back this season and handled more weight himself this season than Lamar Jackson's had to. So that's why I firmly believe that it should be concrete that Josh Allen gets this. That's my argument.
Now, what's funny, fellas, before I get to DV's opinion here, the NFL MVP opening odds before the season started were as follows. Patrick Mahomes was the heavy favorite at plus 650. Josh Allen came in second at plus 800. Joe Burrow plus 1,000. Guess who was fourth? C.J. Stroud plus 1,100, and then Lamar Jackson. It's just funny that we saw C.J. Stroud really didn't have that great of a second year. He, sophomore slump, whatever. He lost his best receiver, Stephon Diggs, but not really. I think Nico Collins is a better receiver if you ask me. That dude's 6'4". But now we have Josh Allen is currently sitting, according to DraftKings Sportsbook, minus 450 favorite. Lamar Jackson is a plus 320. So obviously one of these guys is going to win the award. DV, tell me, brother, who is the MVP this year, and tell me why and why the other guy isn't.
Not taking anything away from Lamar Jackson. He's having a great and incredible, fantastic, dynamic year. But, man, when you say MVPs, the most valuable player, the person that has the most value is Josh Allen. It's clear. It's cut to me. I really don't understand what the big argument is about. I see like in the media, they like to flip stats from year to year. Last year, stats didn't matter. This year, stats matter. It's like you trying to yank it from Josh, but I'm glad we got a quarterback that really don't pay attention to the hype or the social media thing, but he's the MVP. His whole team knows he's the leader of the team. From his team, from him off the field, on the field, from him being a leader that he is, being able to control, getting in and out of plays, alerts to the second play, getting us in the right play at the line of scrimmage. People really take that for granted. That's a big part of quarterbacking too, is coming up, reading the defense and getting your offense into the right play. Time in, time out. Not the coach, but you. And that was kind of the difference between Peyton Manning and Tom Brady. That's a different, conversation for another day. But Josh Allen is the league's MVP and the league's best football player right now.
I agree with DV on every single point that he just made. I'm going to point out something else here that, Lamar Jackson had 4,100 yards passing. Josh Allen had 3,700. I don't think passing yards is one of the more important stats. I think that, your touchdown to interception ratio is up there. Which Lamar Jackson, 41 touchdowns to 4 interceptions. That's crazy, but it's pretty hard to, you have to respect the pass so much for the Ravens. Well, then Derrick Henry's going to run at you for 1,900 yards and 16 touchdowns. Zay Flowers had over 1,000 yards receiving. The Bills have no 1,000-yard receivers, but they have a bunch of guys that contributed a lot of different, yardage. Shakir leading the way with that. But here's the thing. Josh loses Stephon Diggs. Everybody said he's going to take a step back. Stephon Diggs basically was trying to say, I was crucial to his success. Stephon Diggs actually said that before he got traded away, and that's when we traded him away a couple days after that. But let me tell you something. Josh Allen had a much better year than with Stephon Diggs there last year. I mean, he didn't turn the football over nearly as much. I mean, he had only 6 interceptions. A lot of people think that he's a turnover machine. We saw that that's not true. But if you take Lamar Jackson and put him on the Buffalo Bills, I see them winning maybe 10 games.
That's maybe about it, games. Man.
Really. And that's great. That's great. But
you put Josh over there, Jackson, they might go undefeated.
They might go undefeated. I mean, Derrick Henry, you'd have a gigantic guy at running back like this. Then you have Josh Allen, who's a big running back playing football. Right. Dude, it's like, holy shit. But let's not forget that he has got one of the better tight ends in football, too, in Mark Andrews. And Isaiah Likely, I mean, I'm sorry, that's a better 1-2 combo at tight end than Dawson Knox and Dalton Kincaid. I'm not even hating. I'm just being honest.
That's honest.
Then you throw in Justice Hill. He can run the football. The Ravens are a really, really great offense, but it's not Lamar that's the system. It's the system in place that is the system versus our offense. Josh Allen is the system. There are times where Josh Allen isn't the guy that we have, as the big guy in the game. James Cook might be the guy instead, but that's Joe Brady dialing it up a certain way, right?
Right.
So Josh Allen to me is MVP only because the Bills, they won more games. They beat Kansas City. They beat the Lions. They were a higher seed. They clinched the division with so many weeks left in the regular season. And to me, Josh did more for what he's got around him than what I think Lamar would have. And David Portnoy actually made Barstool Sports president Al Prez said, okay, everybody talking Joe Burrow should be MVP because of his stats. If you put it's great. Joe Burrow was important to his team, but look how many games they won. And he's got 2 all-world receivers over there. Their defense played a lot better in the second half. It's just Josh could do everything. And when we saw him do against the Rams, even though they lost, but then do it to the Lions, that to me makes him the MVP all day. 12 gauge. What do you think, brother? Josh Allen, is he going to take away the award?
I believe so. I believe Josh has got this in the bag. He got robbed last year, I believe.
He got robbed in 2020. He definitely got robbed in 2020, in my opinion.
He got robbed when Lamar won that one as well.
Well, no, that was Aaron Rodgers.
I was going to say that. There's Aaron Rodgers one.
Aaron Rodgers played no interceptions that year. He was nuts that year, but also it wasn't even close to what Josh did that year. Josh was electric. All right, let me ask you guys this. I want an honest opinion. Kirby, let's start with you because you're not a Bills fan. You don't deal with the anxiety of Kansas City that we deal with. Do you see if the Bills get past the Ravens and let's say the Chiefs beat the Texans, right? Do the Bills come away with a victory over Kansas City if they're going to meet in the AFC Championship in Kansas City? Tell us right now.
I don't know. Maybe if Taylor Swift gets thrown to a table, something like that. I don't know.
You with the devil.
If she splits
somebody need to
throw
her through the damn table
somehow at that
game.
Excuse
me, sorry, Taylor Swift.
No, DB, you good? DB, no, that's how it's.
No, I said sorry, Taylor Swift, because I said I'll throw her ass through the table if I had to.
Yeah, dude. Mustard and ketchup and all, dude. I mean, if that happens, y'all win. But I mean, dude, I don't know. They got some weird voodoo. You guys need to, handle business. Take care of them, dude. I think that if it's up to you and them, the rest of the league is probably begging you guys to kick their fucking ass. Pardon my French.
Hey, did you guys think of this, Sauce? Did you think about this sometimes? Like when you're sitting there thinking, the 2 teams that we lost to this season was the Texans and Baltimore.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think it's possible for like a little upset? You know what I mean? And where we beat Baltimore and then we beat the Texans and go to the Super Bowl.
Yes, because I'm gonna tell you what, the Chargers defensively, good team. Houston got past them and they didn't play that great of a game. Houston's got some playmakers. Nico Collins looking like a top 5 receiver to me, right?
Right.
It might be a trap game for Kansas City.
That's
I
what I'm
mean, it might
saying,
be.
bro.
Everybody, they open up as 7.5-point favorites. Kansas City's got the experience. They're probably looking at Buffalo, Baltimore. They're probably watching that game a little bit, right? Houston, they're just trying to, get the rocket ship off the ground. Houston doesn't want a
Right.
problem. Houston said, we don't have a problem. DB, that's a good point. I like that you just brought that up. 12 gauge. You tell me, brother, you think it's possible the Texans actually pull off the upset? The Bills win against the Ravens, and we host the Texans in the AFC Championship?
I think it's a
Not
real
if only Stephon
possibility.
Diggs had been there. If only
Yeah.
Stephon Diggs was still there for that part, man. That
Oh
would be
man,
ultimate
that would have
Right.
did it. That would have
Right.
did it.
Yep.
Oh, he'll be watching, dude. He'll be watching. That's no problem.
With
Yeah,
Domino's
he ain't
Pizza.
got
He's
the
got the emergency pizza. Yeah, Stephon Diggs has got the Domino's app right on his phone. He's ordering pizza and doing commercials. And apparently fucking Cardi B or some shit like that too. I don't know what the hell's going on with him. But you guys are just now tuning in. This is the Mafia Sports Bar Bills post-game and pre-game coverage right here on Facebook and YouTube with Sauce God, DV, 12 Gauge, and Kirby. Facebook and YouTube for pre-game, post-games right here. And also available via audio podcast wherever you get your podcasts from. Make sure you tune in Friday night, 7 p.m. For the Sit Down Sports and Entertainment podcast right here on the same channels. Part of the Gamebook Sports and Entertainment Network. So now we talked MVP. We all got our votes in. Josh Allen is the pick. We're going to talk more about the Buffalo Bills and Ravens as we get closer to the actual game time on Sunday at 6:30 p.m. Eastern. So we'll be right here on Facebook and YouTube to keep you guys covered. Real fast, fellas. If the Bills win this game, we got to hope that the Texans at least beat up Kansas City a little bit, right? Because that we're going to be throwing everything that we got. But we don't want to throw everything we got before we got to go up against Kansas City, right? So,
Right.
Davey, let me ask you this. How do you manage trying not to show them too much, but trying to throw enough firepower that we can walk away and win this game?
This tournament is like the most important tournament. It's a do or die tournament. I think after last game, it's no more to hide. I think with the teams that we playing, the juggernauts that we playing, any game it could send us home. Unless we up decisively, I think that we keep hammering away. Do anything it takes to win the game and come home with a W. I don't think that we hold anything in because I think if we hold something in, it could be we be holding it to next year. Then we got to come out punching and take the game from these guys and get on to KC.
I'm anticipating a little something from Joe Brady where he's gonna throw him a lot of firepower, but it's not gonna be everything that we're expecting.
I was gonna say
the run game.
It might be it might be a little different than what we would do if we played KC.
Like a dimension
Right.
of it. You know what I mean? We
Right.
got one of the 3 dimensions and stuff. Yes,
Right.
I like that. So I think overall, it's like, you want to get through Baltimore, you want to get out of there healthy, and should we have to go to Kansas City? It is what it is. We hope to host the AFC Championship game. That's wishful thinking, but ultimately, I think we're going to see the Bills dial up a great offensive game plan, but defensively, how we stop Lamar Jackson, we'll talk more about on our show on Sunday, right here in the pregame show with myself, Sauce God, DV, 12 Gauge, and Kirby. So let's do a couple more segments, guys, before we get out of here and let you guys get on with the rest of your night. So 12 Gauge, I want you to go ahead and play me a video of the unsung hero. We'll talk about who is our unsung hero for the Bills last game. All right, so DV, who was your unsung hero for the game?
Unsung hero. Oh, I had one already pointed out. Ty Johnson. I think he's the unsung hero of the season. Just emerged after like week 9, week 10 or something like that. I can't really nail it down, but Ty Johnson is the unsung hero of the Buffalo Bills.
Okay. 12 Gauge, what do you think, brother? Who is the unsung hero for this Buffalo Bills team?
I got to go Matt Collins. Man's been fantastic for us.
Mm-hmm. I got to say, I'm probably picking Matt Collins, too, because you see him, he's making a highlight as what he's wearing to the game. He's got no shoes on. He's gonna make it a highlight and
Time, man.
pass catcher, a touchdown, and then all of a sudden he's laying an absolute smack on a punt for the Buffalo Bills on special teams, man. And I'll tell you what, that's a little reminiscent of Steve Tasker making plays in multiple areas of the game of football, right? Steve Tasker is the ultimate unsung hero of all time. Should be in the Hall of Fame, by the way. So, Kirby, let me ask you this, brother. Before we get into any other thing for Sunday's matchup, who's going to be the Bills' MVP outside of Josh Allen for the Buffalo Bills against the Ravens?
James Cook, dude. He's going to see Derrick Henry make a few clean runs, and he's going to want to prove himself too. That's what I feel like. I mean, iron sharpens iron. It's going to be a game of grit, and, one guy's going to be running the ball down the field, business as per usual. And the other guy's going to take a step up, and he's going to be like, all right, watch this. So I feel like it's going to be back and forth, man. It's going to be good. And I owe James Cook a little bit of an apology. I was expecting to get an unsung hero bit myself, and I was going to say, I got to go with James Cook.
Go ahead. Take it away, brother. Give us your unsung hero.
Well, I just gave it away. We all know my hot take at the beginning of the season. I thought Frank Gore Jr. would be right now taking reps. So
listen, we talked about it on this show. Frank Gore Jr. or Ray Davis should have made the team, and obviously we look at it. Ray Davis has done pretty well. We hope that he recovers from his injury very well. But
nasty hit.
I think if the Bills are going to have a big playmaker offensively against the Ravens, it's going to be either one of these two guys, Keon Coleman. Because he had a couple drops against the Ravens in the first matchup, a couple big ones, a couple ones that really could have put us back in position. Joe Brady ain't gonna dial up no flea flickers when we're down 17 points. By the way, don't be doing that shit.
No, they ain't having. You better not.
No.
But I think Ty Johnson's gonna have himself a big game with a couple touchdowns too, because I think that he's a little bit of our James White, like James White was for the Patriots. You know what I mean? A guy that kind of comes in the postseason, makes some plays, and he's gonna make the plays that really matter the most and try not to make any mistakes, right? Mm-hmm. So, all right, let's go into getting saucy here next, and we're going to do a little bit differently. Each of us is going to have 1 minute. I'll start you guys on the timer. 1 minute to just kind of go off about whatever it is, the Bills, NFL, haters, whatever it may be. We'll start it off with Kirby. We'll go to DV after that, and then we'll hit me and Gage for the last part. So let's get into getting saucy, presented by Duff Swings right here in the Mafia Sports Bar. 12 Gage. Kick it off for us, brother.
I don't feel like participating in that.
Guys, I got you covered. Don't worry.
As far back as I can remember, I always wanted to be a gangster.
Ice cold, nice, refreshing Labatt Blue on a beer store behind J817.
It's a cold front, is what that is.
I'm fired up this week, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to get you fired up. Bills Mafia, want to hear me getting saucy this week? It's simple. Mac Jones and the New England Patriots, and also, too, the Miami Dolphins, and anybody that's got anything bad to say. Bills by a billion, baby. Let's go. Let's go, Bills.
Okay, I'm not sure what happened to the video, but Kirby, go ahead, brother.
Yeah, gummit, dude. You're making this hard. But, okay, first of all, I got to say, R.I.P. Doug Peterson. He's out for the Jags. He's gone. We're finally somewhat free. I'd say we're halfway there. But until we get a head coach that has the balls to say the rest of the staff needs to go with him because they're no good too, I don't think we really get the ball rolling and we get anywhere. I don't care how good of we get players in the draft. We need a leader at coaching position, and we need him like now, dude. We need to be relevant. We have some good players, dude. We have really good players, and I believe Trevor Lawrence, despite the hate that he gets, I think he's a dog. He's proven it. He plays injured, man. Basically, the whole team falling apart around him, and he tends the ball out when he can. So, I mean,
all right,
we need another coach. Get somebody who's good and relevant.
DB, over to you, brother. Getting saucy.
I had to get that out. Go Bills. I can't wait till Sunday, man. Bills, Ravens. Everybody talking about it. I go between like there's different personality things where I'm an analyst, where I'm a coach, but I'm a fan at the same time. But the fandom in me right now, that's the energy I got. It's like, I want to say the Ravens, but I can't say that on TV. But F the Ravens, F Lamar Jackson, F Derrick Henry. Let's go Buffalo. Let's go Russo. Let's go Von Miller. Let's go Josh. Let's go Cook. Let's go cook these guys. Blow them out. Get them the hell out of Buffalo. Let's go play KC or the Texans. I don't need a whole minute. Let's go. Go Bills.
Just to quote the late and great, Marv Levy, man, the longtime coach of the Buffalo Bills. Of course, the guy is still kicking, but he would tell us, where else would you rather be than right here, right now? Buffalo is going to host the Lamar Jackson-led Baltimore Ravens, and all this talk about MVP, this guy or that guy, it's going to get settled on the field. Now, of course, it doesn't matter for voting because it's regular season, but we're going to see who the real MVP is and which team has got more fight in them. I'll tell you what, it starts offensively, it starts defensively, it goes to special teams, all three phases of football. We've got to execute no turnovers, no penalties, no shooting ourselves in the foot, because guess who's the only team in the world that can beat the Bills? Themselves. So that's why we're going to take care of business at home Sunday, 6:30 p.m. Eastern on the greatest fucking place in the entire world, baby, Orchard Park football, right here in the NFL playoffs.
Let's go,
That's for us getting saucy, man. Let me tell you. So, of course, I appreciate every single one of you guys for liking and sharing. I appreciate DV for his takes. I appreciate Kirby for his takes. I appreciate 12 Gauge for producing. And
nice meeting you, Kirby.
I want to say we got some
nice
more comments too. Chris says, go Bills. Hey, guys, as always, from all of us here at the Game Book and right here in the Mafia Sports Bar, we'll see you guys for pregame show coverage of the Buffalo Bills and Baltimore Ravens in the NFL playoffs for the divisional round as we look to continue that Lombardi Trophy run and bring it into downtown Buffalo so we can have ourselves the greatest parade of all fucking time, right? All right, guys. Every single one is enjoy your Monday, the rest of it, and enjoy the rest of the week. We'll see you right here on Friday night as well, 7 p.m. Eastern Time on Facebook, YouTube, at Buffalo Sauce God and Anthony Vomasudo, and also available via audio podcast, wherever you get your podcasts from. And as always, God bless, stand tall, bolster up, and go Bills, baby. Bills by a billion.